Good morning, and welcome to your weekend briefing from the 10 Point, the Wall Street Journal's guided tour of the best reporting and analysis you can't get anywhere else. I'm your host, and today is Saturday, August 15th, 2026. We've got a fascinating edition lined up for you, from a billionaire bunker in Miami where even Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg can't buy their way in, to an AI breakthrough on a 167-year-old math problem sparked by a high school dropout on a jog, to a girl's trip to Ibiza that finally happened after years of group chat paralysis, only to implode in spectacular fashion. Plus, Ford and GM locking horns over who's the most American carmaker, China opening the Arctic's first regular cargo route, and the staggering story of 500,000 people applying for 583 government jobs in India. Let's dive in. We start in Miami, on a private island called Indian Creek, a place so dense with ultra-wealthy residents it's known as the billionaire bunker. At its heart sits Indian Creek Country Club, a nearly century-old institution that's become the unlikely battlefield for a clash between the region's newly minted billionaires and the old guard who trace their Miami roots back generations. Here's the twist: owning a mansion on the island doesn't guarantee you membership. The club's admission process is opaque, controlled by a membership committee dominated by retirees who, as Deborah Acosta reports, are mounting what amounts to a last stand against what they view as billionaire interlopers. The result? Some of the island's most recent and most famous residents, Jeff Bezos, Jared Kushner, Mark Zuckerberg, have yet to secure membership. They own the real estate, they've got the billions, but they can't get past the velvet rope. It's a remarkable portrait of old money versus new, of exclusivity that money alone can't crack, and of a community in transition where the very definition of elite is being contested. Acosta's reporting takes us inside the committee rooms, the grill room conversations, the quiet power plays that determine who belongs and who doesn't, and what it says about Miami's evolution from a retirement haven to a global wealth magnet. Speaking of Jared Kushner, his brother Joshua has just stepped into the spotlight in a major way. Thrive Capital, Joshua Kushner's venture capital firm, known for its tech investments, is part of a group striking a $12.5 billion deal for the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a watershed moment, a VC firm expanding decisively beyond technology into sports franchise ownership, signaling a broader shift in how private capital thinks about media and entertainment assets. The deal values the Lakers at a staggering multiple, and it puts Joshua Kushner, long the quieter Kushner brother, at the center of one of the most high-profile sports transactions in recent memory. Staying with the headlines, the Trump administration doesn't want Apple buying memory chips from China. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick made that clear in an interview. But Apple may do it anyway, caught in an AI-driven chip supply crunch that's forcing hard choices. The tension between national security directives and commercial necessity is playing out in real time, and Apple's next move will be closely watched. Also in the headlines, Ford and GM are locked in a new battle, not over trucks or EVs this time, but over which is the most American carmaker. It's a marketing war with deep roots, tapping into identity, manufacturing footprints, supply chains, and political symbolism. Both companies are making claims, running ads, lobbying the narrative. We'll be watching how this one plays out in showrooms and in Washington. On Iran, the administration is doubling down on economic pressure, while Tehran aims to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed until oil prices force the U.S. to back off. It's a high-stakes game of chicken in one of the world's most critical choke points, with global energy markets hanging in the balance. And China has opened the first regular cargo route through the Arctic, a milestone in shipping and geopolitics both, as melting ice rewrites global trade lanes and Russia and China deepen cooperation in the high north. From the markets, PayPal is in talks to sell itself to a group that includes Stripe and the private equity firm Advent International, according to people familiar with the matter. If it happens, it would be a stunning reversal for a fintech pioneer that once defined the category, now potentially absorbed by a competitor and a PE firm. The talks are ongoing, but the very fact they're happening speaks volumes about the pressure on PayPal's model. Meanwhile, Berkshire Hathaway added to its stakes in Google's parent, Alphabet, and in America's home building industry while selling off its position in Constellation Brands. Classic Buffett, doubling down on durable moats and essential sectors, trimming what no longer fits. Now, a story that sounds like fiction but isn't. On a recent Sunday night, Anthropic employee Jared Sumner was out for a jog in San Francisco. He opened the Claude app on his phone and, almost on a whim, instructed the AI to tackle the Riemann hypothesis, the 167-year-old math problem that has defeated generations of the world's brightest minds, a problem so notorious it carries a $1 million Millennium Prize. Sumner, a high school dropout who doesn't understand the math, had no idea what would happen next. The AI didn't solve it, but it made a related finding that one Stanford number theorist called the most impressive result that AI has produced in math so far. Even more remarkable was how it found it. The AI essentially reinvented a sophisticated analytic technique, developing novel mathematical insight through a process that researchers are still trying to reverse engineer. And Sumner, the jogger with the phone, played an invaluable role as the human in the loop, guiding, prompting, recognizing significance where the model itself couldn't. Ben Cohen's report is a window into a new era, AI not just calculating, but creating mathematical knowledge, with humans as collaborators rather than instructors. It's a story that upends assumptions about expertise, about the nature of discovery, about what it means to do mathematics. Let's turn to New York City's $500 million trash problem. The city handles nearly 3 million tons of municipal waste every year. Most of it gets shipped to landfills outside the city, a logistics and environmental nightmare that costs taxpayers around $500 million annually. The sanitation department wants to modernize the system, more recycling, more composting, maybe waste-to-energy, maybe new transfer stations, maybe even changing how New Yorkers think about what they throw away. But the obstacles are immense: infrastructure, politics, unions, real estate, behavior, money. We asked an expert in environmental policy whether it can actually be fixed. The answer is complicated, but the conversation is overdue. This weekend, it's state fair season. Fairs are running in Illinois, West Virginia, Iowa, Tennessee, and Missouri, a slice of Americana that's still going strong, corn dogs and livestock competitions and all. Now, the number of the week, more than 500,000. That's how many people applied for 583 government jobs advertised by an Indian state in 2023. Kundan Kumar Mehta, then 25, was one of them. For the next 3 years, he studied for hours a day for the exam that would whittle down the applicants. Last month, he learned he hadn't been selected, his 6th failed attempt to secure a government job in nearly a decade. Mehta's story is not unique. It's the story of millions of India's youth, educated, ambitious, facing epic odds for a shrinking pool of secure, prestigious positions. It's a demographic time bomb, a political flashpoint, an economic challenge that India's leadership can no longer ignore. The numbers are staggering, but behind each number is a life put on hold, a dream deferred, a future uncertain. And finally, the girls' trip to Ibiza. You may remember Julie Jargon's story from last year, 6 longtime friends who famously could not organize a trip over text message. The group chat was a graveyard of good intentions, conflicting dates, passive-aggressive emojis, and 0 decisions. It struck a chord because we've all been there. Well, they finally did it. Last month, the 6 women met in Ibiza. Some brought husbands and children. Others came alone. 14 people total, on the Spanish island for a few days. They made it out of the group chat. They made it onto the flight. They made it to the beach. And then, on the first day, in a car, 2 of them had a bitch session. A private vent. Except it wasn't private. Their phone's translation feature accidentally transcribed the conversation and shared it in the group chat. The fallout was immediate, explosive, and, according to Jargon's follow-up, a perfect case study in how technology amplifies, distorts, and weaponizes the friction that's always existed in friendship. The trip didn't end the drama. The drama ended the trip, or at least reshaped it in ways no one saw coming. It's funny, it's painful, it's deeply human, and it's a reminder that the hardest part of getting away together isn't the logistics. It's each other. Before we go, a couple of notes from beyond the newsroom. The opinion page argues that Democrats expressing outrage over conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln are engaging in a new level of chutzpah, given their refusal to pass a bill to finance military operations. And Wall Street Journal by side suggests that if you're worried about interest payments, low-interest loans might be worth a look. That's your briefing for this Saturday, August 15th. The 10-point is curated and edited by Morgan Smith and Will Horner in collaboration with Editor-in-Chief Emma Tucker. Thanks for listening, we'll see you tomorrow.